Hey, Red Lipstick Club. I'm back, you guys. Thanks for joining my channel today. If you're new, please hit subscribe. Help me out. Help me to grow my channel. And also hit the like button and share the video. We're doing something new here. I had to do it, you guys. From the moment I saw the Golden Bachelor trailers and like the commercials for it, I was like, what a concept. I don't know if any of you have parents or if you yourself are in your golden hour of life, but it's a big deal to start dating. And imagine losing your partner, like whether it's divorce or even to losing the love of your life and they pass away and then trying to find love again. It's intriguing to think about, and also gives me hope that, man, if I'm in my 70s or my 80s and I'm by myself, it doesn't mean that you have to completely give up on love and the opportunity to find a soulmate. So the Golden Bachelor seems so fun. I have never watched, you guys, any of the Bachelors. I maybe watched one episode here and there, and I only knew who these people were because they showed up on every television screen. So I never was a Bachelor watcher. So I knew that this show was going to be a little bit different because it piqued my interest, and I don't watch any Bachelors. So last night was the premiere. Jerry, who is the main Bachelor, he is, I believe, 70 years old. First off, Jerry is fine. I was like, this man is 70. When they say like 40 is the new, or 40 is the new 20, or whatever the case may be, 70 is like the new 50 or 60. Because this man looked so great, in great shape, very handsome, tall. I mean, I could definitely see the women being like, I'm trying to talk to Jerry. What I loved about this show, though, is you had to be 60 plus to be a contestant for the women. So this wasn't about bringing in a whole bunch of young women to date this man. It was bringing in somebody that was also experiencing that golden hour of their lifetime as well as he is. And to have those things in common. So I love it because there's enough shows for dating for younger people. There shouldn't have been anybody young on that show, and I'm glad that they did not. I'm really excited that it's all 60 plus women. And he seems so excited, so endearing. You could tell he's taking it very seriously. If you didn't do any background on Jerry or know anything about him and watch some of the trailers where it shows his family, I'm pretty sure he has two daughters. He has granddaughters as well, really close with them. He was married, you guys, to his high school sweetheart for like over 40 years. They finally get to the point where they have saved enough money, are both retiring, and they're buying their like dream home on the beach. It looks like it's on the beach. It's a beautiful home. They finally get to the point where they're able to buy their dream home. And why? As soon as his wife retires and they literally sign the closing for their home, and his wife is all of a sudden sick, and not cancer or going to the doctor and finding out you're sick. This woman had I want to say it was like maybe like a bacterial. They said specifically in the show. I don't remember. I just know it was like an infection or something that basically was taking over her organs and killed her. Like she died within a matter of a few weeks, you guys. She wasn't feeling well. He said, hey, I think we need to go to the doctor and check it out. And he didn't bring his wife home. Can you imagine that? Oh my God. That when it started that way, I said, oh Lord, like please give this man the love of his life, because I could not imagine losing the person I've loved and wanted to be with for 40 plus years, losing him that way after you just bought your dream home. So that already had me in my feels about Jerry. That was a great way to start because I think it had everybody on his side and rooting for him. And it didn't feel like a gimmick, like we're just going to throw this guy on here. You could really tell he waited like 6 years now to finally do something like this. So you could tell he was ready. He's like, okay, I'm ready to, I don't want to just be by myself. He seems very active and youthful. So I wouldn't want to be by myself either. So they go, Jesse Palmer, you guys, is the one that's hosting it. And he was like a former Bachelor, I believe, but he's the host for this Golden Bachelor. So they're outside. Jerry looks very handsome in his tuxedo. I always loved a man in a tux. I worked in men's formal wear for years and always loved a man in a tux. I feel like that's when they look their absolute best. And he looked fantastic, especially because he wore a bow tie. And I bet you it was self-tie. I bet he tied it himself. He seems like that type of guy. But they're out there. They're waiting for the limos to show up. It is so cute, you guys. They're like my mom's age. So watching them in the limos, they're all dressed up. I always love to see my moms get dressed up, and she still does that for her husband now. She gets dressed up, and he's like, he loves and appreciates that. So this is a moment where these women got to say, hey, I'm going to get myself looking my most absolute beautiful self, my most confident self, get in this limo with these women, and I'm going to go get me a man. And these women were, when I tell you they were determined, you'll, as you see this episode go, these women are not playing around. Listen, they came for a husband, y'all. They came for a husband. So they pull the limos up. They're doing just like The Bachelor does, I guess, where they go out one at a time. They're going to introduce themselves to Jerry. And the ones that were coming out, I have to have, the first one that came out was Edith, who is stunning. She seems like she might be like Latina, or she gives me a Latina vibe. I can't really tell. But Edith was, I think, 60. She's a retired realtor. But she was just so stunning to me. And she had this like goldeny dress on with like a train. Like, you guys, she looked like a beautiful golden goddess. And I was like, oh, this is how they're starting? Like, she's stunning, right? And so I know that Jerry had to be like, if this is how the women are going to be looking coming through here, I hit the jackpot. Like, she was beautiful. And she seems so sweet and like warm. And I loved it. Now, let's move on to the juicy part, because I got to call it some of the cuckoos that were coming out of these limos, y'all. Baby, some of these women are cuckoo. And I can't wait for this season to go forward, because they're literally crazy. There's some crazy ones in there. One in particular, April, I guess, grew up on the farm with chickens or whatever. She brought like a basket of eggs, I want to say, and she was making these chicken noises. I don't know what it was, you guys. It was so weird. And she got on my last nerve already. So I didn't know she's going to drive the other woman crazy, because she was just doing too much. And I know the goal is to stand out so he remembers you, because, you know, at the end of the night, some of these women are going home. And if you don't really make any kind of an impression, he could just completely forget about you and not give you a rose. But she was just a lot right away. Another one that was, why were most of the black women, y'all, on this show off? Like, we rarely get a chance to like be on these stages, right? So when we are, I'm just like, okay, like let's go, girl. But the first one that came out, number one, is one of the oldest ones, and it's Sandra. Sandra's 75. She's from Atlanta. She's stunning. I can't believe that woman is 75. She's very active. It shows her background. She seems normal for that. But when she goes and she's like, we know when I'm nervous, I like to do this exercise. Will you do it with me? And you think all of a sudden she's like holding his hands and like closing her eyes and taking deep breaths or whatever. And I'm like, what is happening? Is she meditating? Like, what is this? Y'all, why does she take a deep breath in, and then as she's exhaling, she's saying a expletive, a cuss word. And then she does it again. And he's looking at her like, what? Like, I just did not understand it. I did not. I was like, why was that her in her introduction? Like, I totally get you wanting to be free to be yourself and say what you want to say. But that was so odd to me, y'all. There's definitely a Kris Jenner lookalike on this show, Susan. And actually, I didn't know if I was going to like her or not, because I feel like the Kris Jenner look is a little off-putting for me, because I'm like, oh, God, it's Kris Jenner. But actually, when she talks, she seems really sweet and nice. And she actually is really stunning, to be honest. So I kind of liked her. Natasha on this show was like another one of the black women that later on in the show does another cuckoo brain moment. Just some of the black women on the show was like, there's like three black women. There's Natasha, Sandra, and then there's one more. What's her name? I know it, y'all. It's I'll figure. There's one more black woman on the show. Maria. I think Maria's black. But yeah, the two of the three though had really cuckoo moments on this show, but yet he kept them. So maybe he likes a little crazy. I don't know. I hope it wasn't just a diversity play. Like, hey, I just can't kick off all the black women on the first episode. But not to be shady, based off how they acted, I would have kicked them off too, because they creeped me out. Sorry, I would have kicked them off, y'all. They were crazy. My number one standout was Faith. Faith came in on a motorcycle, like a total badass. I said, "Oh yeah, she understood the assignment because you could tell this man wanted somebody that would bring some excitement and energy and joy to his life." And to me, Faith knew that. And Faith is a radio host, and I think she's just like perfectly pretty. You know, like not too much, not too little. Just looks like a normal woman in her 60s that cares about herself and likes to have a good time. And so she tells him she's going to take him for the ride of his life. I said, "Girl, come on with the motorcycle." I love that. And then down the line when they all break off and she got to have some time with him, she actually has a guitar and plays guitar and sings for him. And I was like, "So you're serenading him, you're coming on a motorcycle." So she definitely stood out for me. And guess what? She ended up getting the first impression rose, which is one that they give like midway through the episode to the woman that was basically standing out for him just from initial meetings. And Faith was given that, and then she gets to stay. I was not shocked by that. I could tell as soon as she rode up on that motorcycle that he was going to be like, "Now she's my speed." The funniest one so far for me is Kathy. Kathy is 70. She almost has these like, you know how if you get like too much Botox or something for people and like your eyes can like bug out your head and they're kind of stuck there and you can't blink? She kind of has that look. But she's so funny, y'all. And she's already running her mouth about these women, like calling them out like these women are like, these are some crazy women in here. She's going to be the comic relief for me. I think she's going to be so hilarious on this show. And I want her to stay on as long as possible for that moment. And there's a super hot one. I think her name is Leslie. Leslie's a fitness instructor. Baby, Leslie is stunning. And based off the previews they're giving us of next episode, she's gonna be around for a minute, I feel. She's beautiful. And I was like, she's 64? Like, it just gives me hope for aging the way these women were looking. Like, and they had they didn't just have a lot of women in their 60s, y'all. They had women in their 70s, 75. I mean, they had a vast array of ages. I loved it. They had women older than him. I love that. I love that there was such a large pooling. The funniest part, though, the last bachelorette to get out was, her name was Aunt Chippy. And she's like, and when she's 83, what? I feel like it was Jimmy Kimmel's. I think it's Jimmy Kimmel's aunt. I feel like that's who they said it was. And she's like, "Well, I saw the Bachelor, the Golden Bachelor on TV. I had to meet him. When I tell you I was dying." And she walked in the room and she was like, "Yeah, this is definitely not a room of 80-year-old women." She was just so cute. It was just like a cute little like comic relief moment. And I think it just gave like a glimpse of how excited even America is to see something like this. Where you're like, what? It's not some young kids looking like all models coming here. No, it's like a man that has a whole family, spent 40 years married, and women that have had similar experiences. So if you have not watched it, to tune in. I don't want to totally tell you the whole thing because this is like my first episode video. And I want you to be surprised for a few of these that come through. So definitely watch it. And if I see some good reactions from this and this sounds like something you guys want to do, I'll keep reviewing it and hopefully you'll start watching it and then you'll be able to catch up with me. But it's on Thursday nights. It does stream on Hulu the next day. So if you have like the Hulu with ads combo, you can watch it the next day. But if you have regular TV, it's on ABC. So tune into it. But yeah, I'm loving the Golden Bachelor, you guys. I just loved seeing them flirting, and these women were trying to get their man, honey. They were like, get out my way. I'm trying to get my man. And I'm just totally here for it. Cannot wait to watch the rest of this season. So yeah, thank you guys for staying with me. If you're new again, hit the subscribe button, share this video, like this video. Tell your friends, like if you have friends that are watching the Golden Bachelor, get some friends on board to watch it and have them join us over here so we can talk about it. Because I think it's a great time and I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Until next time, you guys, see ya.